Hey YouTube, it's Marquita and I'm here to bring you guys a video about how I am able to increase my milk production. Riley has been going through a growth spurt recently, and I found out that she was having to nurse more frequently, or it seemed like she wasn't getting satiated as much as she had been previously. So I took that as a cue that I needed to try to find a way to increase my milk supply before it dried up or we had any other issues, because we are a exclusively breastfed household and there is not a drop of formula here. So if Riley is hungry and there's no milk, we have a huge problem. So what I first did was get fenugreek. And this brand is Solar Ray, and of course, as you guys always know, I really need to get stock in Super Supplement. But anyway, I get this from Super Supplement, and you take these, it says take 2 capsules 2 to 4 times a day with a meal or glass of water. I will warn you, I probably about 2 days after using the fenugreek, I started to sniff and I was like, why do I smell like there's maple syrup in here? Like, I haven't eaten pancakes, I haven't eaten waffles, I don't even think we have maple syrup in the house. But apparently, fenugreek is what is in maple syrup. So your pores will start to smell like maple syrup. So that's going to bother you. You know, I consider it a pretty even trade-off. You know, I get nice milk boosting and I kind of smell like maple syrup. Krista says she doesn't smell it, but I would smell it definitely, you know, like my underarms, because, you know, there's big pores there, and like sometimes on my skin I could smell it. I consciously smelled it and I'd be like, why do I smell like maple syrup? It's bugging me. But anyway. In addition, I've been eating lactation cookies. And for those of you who are in the lactation community or in the natural community, you might have seen something about lactation cookies. And I've actually did a whole tutorial video, which I will either insert after this video or I will just upload it separately depending on how big it is. But the lactation cookies, with a combination of the lactation cookies and the fenugreek, my supply has remained very even. I also try to make sure that I pump when Riley's not feeding, because I do get a little over, my milk supply gets a little overstimulated if Riley is maybe not feeding the way that she needs to. But since I'm in school now, I have to pump anyway, so it's a win-win for me. I needed to up my milk supply so that I can feed her and I could store milk. So she'll usually feed off of one side and I pump the other side, and so then that way we start back over from scratch, and then she'll feed off of the opposite side and then I'll pump from the opposite side. So that is how I have been able to increase my milk supply, keep my milk supply steadily going, and things have been going great so far. So I will insert the video here depending on how long it is. If not, then I would do a part 2 that has the lactation cookie video and how to make it. And I hope that that helps some of you breastfeeding mamas out there, or some of you soon to be breastfeeding mamas, when you're having issues with lactation. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. Bye. Hey YouTube, it's Marquita, and I'm back with another Cooking with Kita segment. And today I am making major milk making cookies. These cookies are not only delicious, but they are meant to help you with increasing your milk supply. I've been taking fenugreek, which is an herbal supplement to help increase my milk supply, but I thought, why not be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and eat delicious cookies and increase my milk supply. So let's get started. So here are all of the ingredients that you need to make your lactation cookies. I'm going to try to just, I have them all laid out here, so I'll just point to what they are. So you'll need 2 large eggs. I didn't really want to chop up my pecans, but you can use any kind of nuts that you want to. I'm actually allergic to peanuts, so I decided to use pecans, and these are already just like finely chopped pecans, and I bought 2 bags just in case I want extra ones. Like I said, I'm allergic to peanut butter, so I have almond butter, so you can use peanut butter or almond butter. You can choose to use either chocolate chips or raisins. I would prefer, since they're oatmeal cookies, to have raisins in them. You'll need butter. You will need oats, and this is Country Choice. You can get this at Trader Joe's or at actually any grocery store. Flaxseed meal, and this is Bob's Red Mill. You can get this at Trader Joe's, but I also found this at my local grocery store. You need imitation vanilla flavoring. You need ground cinnamon. You need whole wheat flour, and this is the kind that's great for bread making. So it'll come in handy. This big bag will come in handy later for when I make bread. Baking soda, and one of the main ingredients, if you ever look for lactation cookies online, is brewer's yeast. It's a mouthful to say. I found mine on Amazon.com, and this is the reduced bitterness formula, and it was pretty cheap. I'll try to remember to put the link below, but you can just look up brewer's yeast on Amazon, or you can try Whole Foods and see if they have it. I know Trader Joe's does not carry it, or my local one doesn't. And then you will need brown sugar. This is Trader Joe's organic brown sugar. And then you will need regular granulated sugar. You can also substitute for agave. There's also a formula for this, or recipe for this cookie, that is all vegan, and I will link the recipe below. It's from Dr. Mama, and so if you're vegan, then you can also make these great lactation cookies. So let's go ahead and get started with getting our ingredients mixed. So for this recipe, you'll need 2 separate bowls. In this first bowl, what you're going to do is combine your dry ingredients, which is flour, baking soda, cinnamon, and salt. You will need 1½ cup of whole wheat flour. You will need 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And you'll put that all in this bowl and then set it to the side. Okay, in this second bowl, you have almond butter, sugar, brown sugar, vanilla, brewer's yeast, flax, and water. And I'll go over each of those. So for the almond butter, you need 3/4 cup of almond butter, or peanut butter if you choose. For the actual butter, you need 1/2 cup of butter softened. So I just leave the butter out and let it get to room temperature, so it's easier to beat. Next, you're going to need sugar, which I said it could either be agave, which you'll need to look up the substitution for that. You can also use cane sugar, or you can just use granulated white sugar, and you'll need 1/2 cup of sugar. You'll need 1/2 cup of brown sugar. You will need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You will also need 3 tablespoons of brewer's yeast and a full cup of flaxseed, and you will need 1/3 cup of water. And what you're going to do is put this all into a bowl, and then you're going to mix until it is creamy. Okay, so I have all of those all nice and beaten and creamy, and now I'm going to add in my 2 large eggs. Okay, now that you have your eggs all mixed in, you are going to gradually add in the flour mixture that we made up earlier, and just make sure that it's all nice and beaten and there's no lumps and it's nice and smooth. So now that I have my wet and my dry ingredients mixed all together, now I'm going to add in my nuts. And like I said, I am not using chocolate chips, I'm using raisins. If you want to use chocolate chips, then you'll use 2 cups of chocolate chips. I just use 1 box of raisins. And for your chopped nuts of your choice, you're going to want to use 1 cup of the chopped nuts of your choice. And then you want to blend all together. Now you're going to gradually mix in your oats, and you're going to need 1 3/4 cup oats. Let me go ahead and make this disclaimer now. If you have a stand mixer, I know they really are a pain in the butt to pull out, but if you have one, I would recommend using that versus a hand mixer. Mixing together the nuts and mixing together these oats, they have been flying all around our kitchen because the stand mixer really kind of contains them. If you don't have anything but a hand mixer, I would recommend using a spoon to kind of mix some of the ingredients together first before you use the hand mixer. So that's just a little FYI. So now we have everything all mixed up. Yummy. I'm so excited. I have my baking sheet lined with parchment paper, but you can do a greased cookie sheet if you need to. I'm going to take this and make this into little balls of cookies, and then I'm going to put them on the parchment sheet of paper. Okay, so now I have them all on the pan, and I'm just going to press them down lightly with a fork. And they kind of break apart a little bit, so you don't want to press too much. And then you're going to have your oven already preheated to 350. You're going to bake for 12 minutes, and then we're going to let them cool. Okay, so they are all done. They did break up a little bit in some places, and they smell pretty yummy. I guess we'll see how they taste, and if I need to make them again, then I guess we will see how I need to possibly tweak them. So the next big thing is the taste test. Okay, so now it's time for the taste test. I just made a small one so that I can taste it, and we'll see if it's any good. It's actually good. It tastes kind of like an oatmeal cookie. It can use some more raisins, and I can see why the chocolate chips will come in handy, but overall it's pretty good. So here's to making more milk.